Imagine your project manager storming in with a stack of sticky notes. He takes you into one of those meetings, and for 6 hours, you just look at slides and charts instead of doing real work. Does this sound familiar? But is this really what project managers do? Are they slowing down your work? Maybe they're just a harmless overhead for you? Or are they saving the day? Are they heroes of tech companies? Let's find out. So, why do some people think PMs are a deadweight or maybe a nuisance to the team? Here are common complaints. First, PMs, well, they don't do any real work. Project managers, they aren't designing products, they aren't writing code, they are not deploying anything to production. To some, it looks like they're not contributing much at all. Why pay them when the real work is done by someone else? Second, time wasters. PMs are infamous for meetings. Too many meetings. Meetings that should have been emails. Or worse, meetings that, well, restate the obvious. Developers often think, we already know what we need to do, we know what we're doing, Mr. Einstein. Third, PMs are clueless in technology. They often don't understand the technical side of things. They'll make decisions that don't make sense or even disrupt teamwork. That frustrates colleagues who actually know how to get the job done. A special place in hell is for managers who make impossible promises to the client, and later they blame the team for not doing what the client expects. 4. Stealing credit. The team does the heavy lifting, but who presents it to leadership and the client? The project manager. It can feel like PMs are taking credit for the work someone else did. And finally, what do they even do all day? You ever wondered if project managers just spend their day updating presentations and booking meetings? For many, it's a mystery how project managers fill their time. Sometimes it feels like PMs invent problems just to stay busy, just to pretend they are important. On the other side, what do great and useful project managers do? How do they help the team? First, let's get one thing straight. A project manager's job is not to manage people. Their role is to manage projects, to ensure that everything runs smoothly, on time, and within budget. Here are key things they actually do. Communication hub. PMs are the bridge between developers, designers, clients, and leadership. Think of them as a Wi-Fi router for the project. They keep everyone connected. Developers, they usually hate talking to users. Why is that? Because users, they like to ask dumb questions. Well, dumb questions like, why can't you add a button that solves all my problems? On the flip side, clients cannot understand anything developers say in their tech speak. Something like, it's a simple matter of refactoring the microservices for the new cluster. It will take at least 6 months, maybe 2 years. This is where PMs shine. They translate developerese into normal human language and vice versa. They save everyone from frustration and misunderstandings. Risk management. PMs are the ones spotting risks before they derail a project. Here's one example: timelines. Developers are often optimistic about how fast something can be done. Like, oh, that'll take just a day, if you don't drag me into any meetings. That's what they like to say. But 3 weeks later, the task is still in progress. PMs, they step in with realistic planning and buffer time for unexpected hurdles. They keep everyone grounded and ensure projects don't fall apart because of someone's wishful thinking. Scope control. Ever heard of scope creep? It's when projects balloon into unmanageable beasts. PMs are the gatekeepers who keep that from happening. For example, in my experience, there was a small project where a developer was working directly with a client, and it started as a tiny request for a quick little change. But because the developer wasn't pushing back on client's comments and many additional wishes, well, the client kept coming up with more and more requests. In the end, the developer had to redo the same thing redid it several times over. And all of that was because of whims of the client. This is the definition of scope creep for you. A good PM would have stepped in, set boundaries, and ensured the project stayed on track without all this endless rework. Timeline enforcers. PMs make sure deadlines don't become never-dones. Without them, your launch date would probably shift, well, forever. Here's one thing about deadlines. Work tends to expand to fill all the time available. Without someone setting firm boundaries, the project can stretch out endlessly. As teams get caught up perfecting every detail or procrastinating on tough tasks, the deadlines just continue stretching. PMs, they keep moving things forward. Crisis management. When unexpected problems arise, PMs are the ones who roll up their sleeves and find creative solutions. Here's an example. We once had a flood in our office. The computers were soaking, the sticky notes were floating around everywhere. It was chaos. What did our PMs do? They turned into disaster response professionals. They brought buckets, sponges, they made some trips to electronics store, everything to keep the project alive despite the indoor swimming pool that we got. But let's be real, there are situations where PMs can become an overhead. First, when there is no real need for them. For small, highly collaborative teams, a full-time project manager might not be necessary. Second, when they're overly bureaucratic. Too much process can kill creativity and momentum. The key is having the right PM for the right team and the right project. So, are project managers, are they a dead weight for you or value creators? The answer is it depends. A great project manager enables teams to do their best work, but a bad one can feel like unnecessary baggage. Well, I'm curious, what's the worst project manager you had to work with? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.